Let us practice more questions on scope of total income. Okay, so we will be practicing more questions on section 5, that is scope of total income, or you can say tax incidence. So let me share the screen, you take the screenshot and then we will start solving it. You take the screenshot of this question number 11. I hope the screen is visible. So take the screenshot of question number 11 and raise your hands the moment you take the screenshot. After taking the screenshot, please raise your hand. Those who have taken the screenshot, please raise your hands. Okay, now you start attempting it and we will then tally the answers. Assuming the person is ROR, RNOR, NR. Though in the question it is mentioned that this is a non-resident, but I want to practice this question for all these three different categories, ROR, RNOR and NR, so that our concepts are clear. We are only practicing the question. You please read this question yourself and then we will try it. Read it yourself. I will wait for you to solve it. And this is problem number 11. Try it yourself. Then I will tally with you. Page 2.24. Okay, try this case yourself. Then I will help you in discussing the points. Assume that the person is ROR as well as RNOR and NR. How will the taxability change? For the assessment year 2021-22, A is non-resident. So I'm making one change here. I'm assuming that A is not only non-resident, assuming A as ROR, also RNOR and also NR. So this is the change which I am making. From the information given below, find out his income chargeable to tax for the assessment year 21-22. A point, capital gain on sale of house at Pune, sale consideration received in India. Anyone who can tell me the answer of point A? What I should
Yes,
write?
yes, sir. Taxable for all.
Why?
Sir, because the income is received in India.
Yes. So this is the simple answer. Income received in India. Any income which is received in India becomes taxable. It does not matter who you are. So 1 lakh, whether ROR, 1 lakh, whether RNOR, 1 lakh, even if non-resident. Please raise your hand if this point is clear. Okay. B point. Technical fees received from an Indian company in Germany for advice given by him in respect of a project situated in Iran. Anyone who can tell this answer? Point B.
Sir, taxable for ROR, not for RNOR and NR.
Why?
Project is situated in Iran, so that's why it's not taxable for RNOR and NR.
This is not the reason. This is not the correct reason. Anyone who
So
can explain
because the
clearly?
yes, sir. So the income is not accrued in India because the purpose is not in India. It's not utilized for a purpose in India.
No, not the correct reason. Any other who can tell me how we should write?
So it is income accruing arising in outside India and received outside India.
Yeah, up to some extent you are correct. Any other answer? The answer which I can say that yes, it is correct.
Sir, income is not accrued
Presentation only. You all are telling me the correct answer, but not the way of good presentation. Yeah, Mansi, yes.
sir, not accrued and received and doesn't come under section 9.
Yeah, so now how I should write it first? This is what I must know. Technical fee received from an Indian company in Germany for advice given by him in respect of a project situated in Iran. So whenever such type of things come, technical fee, royalty, or interest, royalty, technical fee, these are those words. The moment these words come in any question, the moment I see these words, I start thinking about section 9. So first I have to rule out the possibility of applicability of section 9. It is technical fee received from an Indian company. That means, what is the provision of technical fee? If fee for technical service is received from government of India, it is always taxable whether you are ROR, RNOR or NR. I hope you have watched that video of mine which I uploaded yesterday. Those who have not watched that, they might face some difficulty. Second point, if fee for technical service is received from a resident person, then also it is always treated as income which is deemed to accrue or arise in India, except in one case where it will not be treated as income which is deemed to accrue or arise in India, if that fee service or that technical service is utilized by this resident person for any project outside India. Only in that case I will say that this is not the income which is deemed to accrue or arise in India. Third point is what? Whenever fee for technical service is received from a non-resident assessee, it is always never deemed to accrue or arise in India. It is never deemed to accrue or arise in India. But in one case, it will be treated as income which is deemed to accrue or arise in India. And what is that one case? If this non-resident person has utilized my technical services for a project in India. If you remember this point, please raise your hand first. I want to know that whether you remember this point or not. Those who have watched the video, they must be remembering this point. Okay, so those who do not remember, they have to practice and watch that video again. Now I am assuming that you remember this point, and now I will proceed. Is this point B, is this income which is deemed to accrue or arise in India or not? Yes or no? No. Why?
No,
No. Why? Why it is not deemed to accrue or arise in India? Why?
sir, its purpose of utilization is outside of India, so that's why it's not accrued in India, and it's received by a German company. So that's
German
why it's
company.
not received.
It is received by German company.
In Germany, sorry, received in Germany. Like,
No, no, no. Any person who can tell me the correct answer. What should be the logical way? How I should tell? Of course, it is not the income which is deemed to accrue or arise in India, but I am asking a question. On what basis you are saying that it is income not deemed to accrue or arise in India? So what you should reply with good presentation? How you should reply? How you should tell me?
So technical fees rendered to a resident company is only taxable when the purpose of utilization is in India. It is not deemed to no, it is not deemed to accrue in India if the purpose is outside of India.
Now I should tell you what I should say. I should say that it is the fee for technical service which is where it is the fee for technical services where the services are provided to a resident, and this resident has utilized those services for a project outside India. Therefore, it is not deemed to accrue or arise in India. If you get this point, please raise your hand. Technical services are provided to a resident, and this resident has utilized my technical services outside India. On this basis, I can say that it is not deemed to accrue or arise in India. So this is one part of this point. Now I know that it is not deemed to accrue or arise in India. Then what? अब क्या करें? चलो हो गया नहीं deemed to accrue or arise in India. Then what? What will you do now? Then I will check. Then what type of income is this? If I have ruled out the possibility of income deemed to accrue or arise in India, then what should come in my mind? That where actually it is earned and where actually it is received. So where in reality it is received where? In Germany. And where it is accrued, since it is utilized for projects situated in Iran, I can assume that it is accrued, of course, not assume, I can say that it is accrued outside India. Once you rule out the possibility of application of section 9, then what should come in your mind? That where actually it is received and where actually it is earned. That's it. Once you rule out the possibility of applying section 9, or even if you have applied section 9, but once you got the answer that income is not deemed to accrue or arise in India, then you should think where actually it is earned and where actually it is received. So in this B point, I ruled out first the possibility of section 9. I found that this is not the income which is deemed to accrue or arise in India. When I found that it is not the income which is deemed to accrue or arise in India, then I also found that it is received outside India as well as accrued outside India. So what is now this heading of B point? It is the income which is accrued as well as received outside India. Then another point which starts is this. So first I will write that it is the income which is not deemed to accrue or arise in India. And you will give the reason in working notes then why you are saying that it is not deemed to accrue or arise in India. Or you can write here itself why you are saying that it is not deemed to accrue or arise in India. Because the moment royalty, interest and fee for technical services, such words or sentences come, always you should rule out the possibility of section 9 first before proceeding further. It is not deemed to accrue or arise in India. And then you can write the reason because these services were given to a resident assessee which has utilized these services outside India. That's it. If this is ruled out, that then after this I am saying another point, that it is income which is accrued outside India as well as received outside India. Now I got this point that it is income accrued as well as received outside India. And what is the tax treatment of this point if it is accrued as well as received outside India? This income is taxable for ROR. So 2 lakh. ROR has to pay. Not taxable for NR. No issue. For RNOR, there is a problem. It is taxable only when it is from a business and profession. And if this business is 100% controlled in India or this profession is set up in India. Is it from business or profession? Can you tell me by looking at point B? Is it from business and profession? After looking at point B, can you tell me whether it is from business or profession? Anyone who can tell me?
Yes, sir, from profession.
Where it is written that it is from profession? That you might be assuming. Am I right?
Yes.
So maybe the technical word gives a hint here.
बस जरूरी नहीं भाई, मेरी भी टेक्निकल एक्सपर्टाइज है, बट ये जरूरी नहीं कि मैं उसको एज ए प्रोफेशनल यूज करता हूँ. एक ही बार गया हूँ साल में एक बार सर्विसेज लेने के लिए. सो अगेन assumptions comes into picture. I can assume that it is not from a profession, or I can assume that it can be from profession. Maybe I am a technical person, so I can say that it is my profession. I can also say that I might be a technical person, but it is not my profession. I just went to your company on the basis of some request by a known person who is in your company. That's it. So for me, it can be my profession or it cannot be. Second thing, the moment you assume that it is profession, you have to further make another assumption where the profession is set up. Is the profession set up in India or outside India? So both the assumptions are correct. If you are assuming that it is professional income and profession is set up in India, with this 2 lakh becomes taxable for RNOR. If you are assuming that it is not from profession, 2 lakh will become not taxable for RNOR. So in such cases, you have to make the assumption yourself. That's it. Because in real life, you know the exact concept. I am assuming that it is not a professional income. This is my assumption. Because neither profession is written, nor it is mentioned where it is set up. The moment I make one assumption that it is profession, I need to make another assumption where it is set up. So I avoided taking two assumptions. I rather assumed simple point that it is not from business or profession. That's it. With this, I am writing in RNOR blank. If you assume that it is from professional income and profession is set up in India, you will write 2 lakh in RNOR. I wanted to tell you both the possibilities, both are correct. Both are correct. Answer might be different, but both are correct. But you have to check on case-to-case basis, which is more rational and more logical. That's it. Rather than making two assumptions in the same question, first you will assume that it is professional income, then you will assume that profession is set up in India. Rather than taking two assumptions, better to take one assumption that it is assumed that it is not from profession. That's it. But both the answers are correct. If you got the answer or got the point, please raise your hand. Any doubt you can ask me.
So could you please explain this again, why it is not deemed to accrue in India?
Can you tell me why you are thinking that it is deemed to accrue in India? So that I can tell.
So can you explain it again? I am
Okay,
confused.
no issue. Okay. It is fee for technical service. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, fee for technical service is being received from an Indian company. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Indian company is always resident. That is also clear.
Yes, sir.
Whenever fee is received from a resident person, it is always deemed to accrue or arise in India. Always. But in one case, it will not be treated as income, which is deemed to accrue or arise in India. And what is that one case where it is not treated as income, which is deemed to accrue or arise in India? If this resident person has utilized my services outside India. And in this case, this resident person, Indian company, has utilized my services in Iran, outside India, and that is why this income is not deemed to accrue or arise in India. Point clear or not?
sir. Got it.
Okay, had this services been utilized in Delhi rather than Iran, do you know this income would have become income deemed to accrue or arise in India? Clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Now, any doubt in point B so that I can proceed? If you raise your hands that point B is clear, I can proceed then. Please raise your hand if there is no doubt in point B.
Sir, there's some doubt in point A though.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, can we assume that it is also accrued in India as well? Capital gain on
No.
sale of house at Pune.
Yeah, there is no need to make an assumption. It is, of course, accrued in India in point A. इसमें assumption की जरूरत नहीं है. If house is
Both
in
the answers
Pune,
are correct, right?
of course, government says that it's your choice. You call it as accrued in India, you call it as received in India, you call it as deemed to accrue or arise in India. Government said doesn't matter. The point is, if you are willingly in a position to pay the tax, even if you are NR or RNR, then there is no problem. You can write any sentence, doesn't matter. The main purpose of these three, accrued in India, received in India, deemed to accrue in India, deemed to received in India, the purpose of these four is to simply make sure that it is taxable irrespective of your residential status. Anything you can write, doesn't matter.
All
Clear?
right, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm proceeding now. Point C. Salary received in Sri Lanka for rendering service in Kerala. Any answer? What I should call it technically or conceptually? What word I should use or what sentence I should use?
Income deemed to accrue arise in India.
Yes. Why?
So because it's salary payable for services done in India.
Services done nahi, services rendered in India.
Oh.
Yes, you are correct. So I should use now for point C. Salary payable for services rendered in India is always deemed to accrue or arise in India. Simple. If this is the case, then it is taxable. How much is the amount? The amount is 3,50,000. But let me tell you, from salary head, always 50,000 is flat deduction for everyone. Without any logic, without any reason, nothing to ask. The moment you are computing income under the head salary, give flat deduction of 50,000 rupees and then you tax the remaining amount. So I will write 3 lakh taxable, even if you are ROR or NOR or you are NR. I hope the point is clear. Any doubt you can ask me, otherwise point D. Any answer of point D? Any answer of point D? Anyone who can explain? Those who have not explained anything, is there anyone who can explain point D?
Sir?
Hmm.
Sir, in this 1,60,000 will be taxable for all and 2,40,000 will be taxable only for ROR.
Why? Answer is correct, but why?
Sir, because 1,60,000 is received in India by all of them, and the rest is income accrued and received outside India.
Why accrued outside India? Because it is German development bond. So that means I will assume that these are from Germany. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes. So your reason is perfectly correct. So what I should write? I will write first income received in India. %40 because 2/5. So 2/5 is 40%. So that will be 160. And for remaining, if 2/5 is received in India, it means 3/5 is received outside India by default. These are on German development bonds. Of course, then Germany is outside India, so might be these are from German government. So accrued outside India, and it cannot be business, etc. because it is interest income. Okay, so it cannot be my business or profession. It is simple interest income. Anyone who is depositing the amount is getting the interest. So you cannot assume it as business income or professional income. So I will say that income accrued as well as received. Outside India. I hope the point is clear. Any doubt you can ask me. Otherwise, point E. Past untaxed foreign income of 2008-9 brought to India in 2020-21 5 lakh. Any answer? Anyone who can
Sir,
make
why
an
it would
attempt?
be taxable for
From
RNOR
previous
and
one.
Sorry. That was my mistake. It is not taxable. Okay, it is blank. Answer of 0.5. Anyone who can tell me the answer of 0.5? 0.5. Anyone who can think logically?
So it should be treated as accrued outside of India because it was first received outside of India.
No. Any answer? Any other answer of E point? This income
So
is
for
not.
ROR,
Yes.
for
Ye,
RNOR, it will be taxable in India, but not for NR.
ये इनकम किसी के लिए भी टैक्सेबल नहीं है because this income is not related to my year. This income is related to which year?
2008 and 9.
8, 9, and you are computing the income of which year? 2020-21.
Right.
If I'm talking about previous year, I'm talking about 2021. But this income is related to earlier years. In that earlier year, it was untaxed or it was accrued in India, outside India. That is none of my business now. Whatever it would have been, that would have been taken care of in the previous year 8-9 itself. So why I'm concerned about 2020-21. In my year, what is happening is not the income which is earned, it is only remittance happening. Remittance, movement of money from one place to another. Remittance is not an income, it's simple. You are not earning it, you are simply moving it from one place to another. So I cannot apply any point, that's it. Earlier 13 years ago it was taxed or untaxed. Maybe it was untaxed because of the provisions which were applicable 13 years ago. Maybe 13 years ago this income was totally tax free. So why am I'm concerned about current year? Remittance is not an income, that's it. Any doubt you can ask me, otherwise raise your hand if this question is 100% clear to you. Those who are clear in this case, please raise your hand. Manya Gupta, any doubt? Manya Gupta, any problem in this case?
No, sir.
Pranjali Kumari, any problem? Those whose hands are not raised, what is the problem then? Please tell. Rashmi Gupta, any problem? Harshita, any problem? Then why you were not raising the hand at that time earlier? The moment I am asking, then you are raising the hands. It's strange. Okay, let us discuss another case now. Take the screenshot of these points. We will discuss this now. Please raise the hands if screenshot has been taken of these 6 points. Okay, start doing it. Assuming that you have to compute the income of any person who is ROR, RNOR or NR, how will you attempt it? Try this case. So it is case 12. We are doing case 12, not case 12, it is problem 12. So these are 6 different types of incomes and we will solve it assuming the individual is NR, RNOR and ROR.
Sir, I guess the screen is showing question only right now.
Point A, anyone who can tell me the answer of point A? Income earned in Bangladesh but received in India. Any answer?
Sir, taxable for all.
Taxable for all.
Answer means what is the concept which you will write?
Income received in
Income
India.
actually received in
Yes.
India.
440, 440, 440. B point. Income earned and received outside India. Any answer?
Sir, taxable for ROR, but assuming for RNOR and NR, it's nil. Like, if we assume it's not from a profession or business, it's nil for RNOR as well.
It is taxable for ROR. It is not taxable for NR. And for RNOR, what you will assume?
It is not from PGBP.
What you will assume?
Not from PGBP or like the business controlled in India and profession set up in India.
So rather than making so many assumptions, I can say that by default, until and unless for incomes which are accrued as well as received outside India, until and unless examiner on the question itself says that it is from business and profession, we should assume it not from business and profession. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Is it
That's
clear?
what I guess I said.
Until and unless for income accrued and received outside India, until and unless business or profession is written, until and unless where it is set up and controlled it is written, it's better to assume that these are not from business and profession. So it will be not tax. It will not be taxable. So no need to write it as an assumption. By default, until and unless for income accrued and received outside India, business, etc. word is not written. You simply assume that it is not from business or profession. C point. Those who know the answer of C point, please raise your hand. Point C. Those who can try the answer of point C, they can raise the hands. कुछ लोग ऐसे हैं जिनको आंसर कभी आता ही नहीं है करना, बैठे रहते हैं बस. पता नहीं लाइफ में आगे कैसे कुछ आगे बढ़ोगे जिंदगी में. जो सिर्फ औरों की देखकर सुनता रहता है, कभी आगे नहीं बढ़ पाता लाइफ में. वो देखता ही रहता है बस. Harshita, can you try? Harshita, can you try point C? Amrita, can you try point C?
Sir, am I audible? I'm really sorry.
Yeah, you are audible now.
Sir, taxable for ROR?
No, don't tell me taxable for whom or not. You tell me the concept, that's it.
Okay, sir. Sir, 1 minute. So, sir, the question is a royalty received in Germany from a resident of India for technical services provided for a business carried on in Germany, 1 lakh. So, the concept is that it is received outside India and accrued in.
No, you are taking the wrong track. Any other person? Sujit, can you try?
Yes, sir. So, sir, in this case, it is an income which is not deemed to be, accrue or arise in India because it is received.
Yes. So, because first of all, we have to rule out that possibility of section 9. We have to rule out possibility of section 9. Whenever we face any problem, until unless income accrued in India and received in India, until unless these are clear. If you think that there is some doubt where you are not in a position to check where it is accrued, better to rule out the possibility of section 9 first. So the moment these words interest, royalty and fee for technical services come, always try section 9 first. It is royalty income from a resident assessee. Now royalty from a resident is always treated as deemed to accrue or arise in India if this resident is utilizing my services in India. But in this case, this resident is utilizing my services outside India. So on this basis, I will say that it is not deemed to accrue or arise in India. If this point is clear, first raise your hands. It is not deemed to accrue or arise in India. If you are clear in this point, then first raise your hands. Okay, if you are sure that this income is not deemed to accrue or arise in India, then next question will come in your mind. Then what is this? where it is actually accrued and received. So where it is actually received outside India, in Germany, where it is accrued, since it is used for project in, since my services are used for project in Germany, I will assume that income is accrued also outside India. So first of all, for these questions, whenever I face any doubt where it is actually accrued and actually received, in that case, I should first write that it is income not deemed to accrue or arise in India. It is always safe and correct to first rule out this possibility. Income not deemed to accrue or arise in India, and you tell the reason to the examiner also why. Maybe in the note or here itself, that because this royalty is received from a resident for services where the services are utilized by this resident outside India, so it is not deemed to accrue. Then next question arises, then where it is actually accrued. So it is actually received outside India, and since these are services are utilized in Germany, I will assume that it is accrued also outside India. So income accrued as well as received outside India. Then again another question arises, is it from a business or profession? What you will say then? Is it from a business or profession? What you will say? Tell me, is it from business or profession? What will you say then? Any answer?
We can assume it's not from business or profession.
We should always assume, until and unless business or profession word is written, always it is better to assume that it is not from business and profession. If you assume that it is not, or if this thinking is going in your mind that it is not from business and profession, that means it is taxable only for ROR. How much is the amount? 1 lakh. Not taxable for NR, and also not taxable for RNOR. If this point is clear, please raise your hands. Any doubt you can ask me. Next point. Agricultural income in Sri Lanka. Any answer? Agricultural income in Sri Lanka.
Income accrued as well as received outside India.
How can you say it is received outside India?
So because
is it mentioned?
No, so we are assuming that it is.
Yeah,
received.
so in that case you have to write this point. It is income accrued outside India as well as received outside India, but when you are writing this word outside in case of received, you also need to mention an assumption that it is assumed that income is received outside India. You have to write this assumption. Otherwise, I can assume that income is received in India, and that would also be a perfect answer. It's my choice. If examiner is not giving me anything, I can assume anything. But what is more rational, you have to decide on case to case basis. Rationality means what is more logical also. Because when income is where in Sri Lanka, normally the rational assumption is income is also received in Sri Lanka. If you assume that income is received in India, that would have been little bit separate assumption or not logical assumption. But both the answers are correct. I can assume income received in India or I can assume income received outside India. I am making logical assumption. That is the only point. So I am making the assumption that income received as well as accrued of course outside India, received also outside India. With this, it becomes taxable for ROR 5 lakh, not taxable for NR. And I told you that until unless business and profession is written, better to assume that it is not from business and profession. Please raise your hand if point D is also clear. Otherwise, you can ask me the doubt. Point E. Anyone who can tell me the answer of point E? Dividend from an Indian company received in Pakistan. Point E.
Income deemed to accrue in India as it is dividend paid by an Indian company outside India.
Yes, correct. It is the income deemed to accrue or arise in India because dividends paid by Indian company if outside India are always deemed to accrue or arise in India. With this, it becomes taxable for ROR, not taxable for NR. And here also I'm writing blank in RNOR. Why? Because I'm assuming that no need to make an assumption. Dividend is, of course, not a business and profession. F point. Anyone who can tell me the answer? Yes.
Sir, so in the agricultural income, when we say that it is exempt, do we not?
Who says it is? Who says it is exempt? Have I said that it is exempt?
Sir, I mean, we commonly hear that, but do we need to consider that while solving the questions?
Agricultural income in India is exempt from tax. This is the agricultural income which is earned outside India. That is not tax free here.
Okay.
Okay. Now F
Sir,
point.
E
Anyone?
point.
Yes, yes.
सर ई पॉइंट में 80,000 सबके लिए टैक्सेबल नहीं होगा फॉर बोथ आरएनओआर एंड
बिल्कुल
एनआर?
होगा, बिल्कुल होगा 80 and 80. यस, बिल्कुल होगा, सबके लिए होगा. Now F point. Anyone who can tell me the answer of point F? Profit from a business carried on in Pakistan but controlled from India. Anyone who can tell me the answer of point F?
So we first bifurcate this income into 50,000 and 150,000 because 50,000 is received in India. It is taxable for all. Then we look at 150,000. This is PGBP because it's written profits of a business, and since it is controlled from India, and even if it is received elsewhere, becomes taxable for ROR and RNOR.
You are not told the correct reason. Before checking whether it is from business or not, I should have written this sentence: income accrued as well as received outside India. Okay, I should have first used this sentence. Because when I know that 50,000 is received in India, it means 150 is not received in India. Business is carried on in Pakistan. It makes the income accrued outside India. First you write this point, income accrued as well as received outside India, and then you write, since it is from business and business is controlled from India, it becomes taxable even for RNOR. Point clear or not? Before discussing where it is controlled, I must be sure that it is income accrued as well as received outside India. Because suppose my business is in Delhi and controlling is in USA. Business is in Delhi and controlling is in USA. Can you tell me what is that point or what I will write? If my business is in Kamla Nagar market near Shriram College, but it is being controlled from United States, can you tell me what I will write about that income if 2 lakh is the profit of that business? Anyone who can tell me the answer?
Income accrued in India.
Income accrued in India, and there I don't check the control. Am I right or not?
Yes, sir.
You check the control only when the income is accrued and received outside India. If the income itself is accrued in India, then controlling doesn't matter. That is why when in this F point you are saying first that income is from business and it is controlled. No, you should not say this point first. First you should write that income is accrued and received outside India, and then you tell is it from business and profession and from where it is controlled. Any doubt you can. Otherwise, if the question is clear 100%, please raise your hands.
Sir, I have a doubt in point C.
Yes.
Sir, I didn't get the concept of income accrued outside India in that particular situation.
Because this income I earned when I provided my technical services, and I provided my technical services to a resident assessee, and my services are used in Germany. So since my services are used in Germany, I'm saying that the income is accrued outside India.
Sir, had it been the other way around, the services would have been used inside India, then sir, it would have been taxable.
The moment you say that in the same example, the services are used in India, it would have been covered under Section 9, where it would have been treated as income deemed to accrue or arise in India. The moment it becomes income deemed to accrue or arise in India, it becomes taxable for ROR, RNOR as well as for NR.
Okay, sir, got it. Thank you.
Okay, so any problem?
Sir, could you explain the control point in the F part? If
which point? Control point?
If the control was in USA and the business was in Delhi.
So that was another example, okay? If suppose my business is in Delhi, clear?
Yes, sir.
This income is accrued in India, that's it. If my business is in Delhi, this income is accrued in India, it is taxable whether you are ROR, RNOR and NR. I will not check from where it is being controlled. If someone says that no, controlling is outside India, government says no issue. Business is in India, you have to pay the tax. I check controlling only and only when my income is accrued as well as received outside India. Only then this controlling sentence comes into picture. If income itself is earned in India, accrued in India, if business itself is in India, controlling is of no use to me. Not clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So we have covered some 2 questions today where individual was there. Now you might get some questions where the assessee is not individual or HUF, because only in case of individual and HUF you have 3 different categories: ROR, RNOR and NR. But suppose you have to compute the income of firm, company, association of person, body of individual, local authority, artificial juridical person. In that case, you don't have RNOR. You have what? R or NR. So whatever concept I am using for ROR, I will simply apply it for R there. That means this RNOR will not be relevant. So if had this been the example of not an individual but a partnership firm, had this been the example of a partnership firm, I would have simply removed this point and all the concepts or logics or theory would have applied. This ROR would have become simply R, because in partnership firm I cannot write ROR, I have to write R. So whatever is ROR in individual and HUF, that is R in case of other assessees, and ROR doesn't apply. So in case of partnership firm, companies, etc., this controlling business, etc., doesn't make any sense because there is no such category RNOR. We have only resident or non-resident, and this resident is nothing but resident and ordinarily resident by default. I hope the concept is clear, and that's all from my side for today. So I'm winding up this session, and tomorrow we will discuss, or day after tomorrow, whenever we will be having the next lecture, we will discuss other technical provisions of this chapter. Goodbye.